Hey everyone, Jeff here from Films at Home, and we've got another black and white classic stunner on 4K to review today. Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the channel for this review video. Today we're taking a look at the Maltese Falcon from Warner Brothers, celebrating their 100th anniversary with another great 4K catalog release. I will dive into the visuals on this, the audio quality, we'll talk packaging and special features, and ultimately give you a recommendation on whether or not this one is worth upgrading for your movie collection. So typically I talk about the movie, but what can really be said about the Maltese Falcon that hasn't already been written by literally thousands of film scholars? It's Humphrey Bogart in his absolute heyday. It's one of his finest roles. Even if you've never seen this movie before, you will recognize scenes from it because so many other movies have parodied it, or TV shows have parodied it and have, used clips and literally like kids cartoons growing up like used inspiration from this and took scenes from it and did parodies of it. Like it's one of the most famous movies of all time. So here on 4K, Warner Brothers gives us a new 4K master, black and white, but don't sleep on black and white movies because this is one of the best that Warner has put out in their catalog. Of their recent releases, Rebel Without a Cause, Cool Hand Luke, and now the Maltese Falcon, this one of those three is by far my favorite, and I also think it's the sharpest looking of the three. The black and white looks gorgeous in HDR, and I'm telling you, black and white movies, I preach this, but they look so good with HDR. Don't sleep on them. I know HDR is about color, but it's also about deep blacks and brighter whites. In a black and white movie that only deals in the grayscale from black to white, HDR and that color grading and that high dynamic range can just focus in on giving you the deepest blacks and the brightest whites, and it looks incredible. It's really, really good. And I would put this right up there in terms of sharpness, detail, quality, and color grade, right up there with like Double Indemnity, which is one of my favorite discs from 2022. I put it right up there with It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, these black and white movies from this time period can just look fantastic on 4K. And yes, even though this is 10, 20 years, older than Rebel Without a Cause, than Cool Hand Luke, it looks better than both of those. And some of that comes down to the fact that this movie's a little bit more controlled. It probably has a better source, but it's shot in a different way that lends itself better to like a high quality source than the other two. But it's just something about that black and white. When I see that on my OLED TV and the HDR and everything, it just pops off your screen. I mean, I don't know how this could have ever looked better. There's no way film prints in the 40s looked better than how this looks on the disc. So right now in human history, this is the best we've ever seen, one of the greatest films of all time, and that's a real treat to just be alive for and be able to experience in your home. Now for audio, we get a DTS HD Master Audio mono track, but it's a mono 2.0. So essentially it's a mono track that is going to come out of both left and right speakers, right? You're going to use both of those, but it's not going to be massively dynamic. This movie is 80 plus years old. Don't expect some bombastic Dolby Atmos experience. You shouldn't. If you do, you need to do more research into like how movie technology has changed. It's not what you're going to get here. But what you do get is extremely clean dialogue. And that, again, with older movies, I harp on this, but I need to have my dialogue clear. And older movies do a much better job with dialogue because they really had to focus in on that. Whereas newer movies, the dialogue's all muffled and you get the Christopher Nolan Tenet, type dialogue. So it's always been very clear, and they can go back and pull that source out and give you a really high quality HD audio track, which sounds amazing. The music also sounds great. Yeah, it's a mono track. Yeah, it's only 2 channels, whatever, only using 2 speakers, but who cares? Because it sounds awesome. When you get a nice front heavy sound like this and you have a solid audio setup, it can be just as great an experience as the highest end Atmos tracks. It really it hits you right in the front. You don't have to worry about your surrounds or anything like that. It's going to hit you in the chest. It's going to sound great. The music's going to be right there in front of you. And yeah, it's a little bit less immersive than newer stuff, but that's not what you came for if you're watching the Maltese Falcon. You came for a classic Hollywood film, and that's the experience you get here in your home theater with this 4K release from Warner Brothers. It sounds great, and it probably looks even better. Now the packaging here, interesting artwork, right? You got some new stuff, kind of got the floating head poster art going on, and then popping this open. Little boring, nothing crazy, right? Blu-ray, 4K disc, no artwork on those, but that's okay. We're here for the movie, right? We're here for the presentation of the film on your TV, not for the disc art. And it also does come with a digital code, which redeems in 4K. Now for special features, there's one special feature on the 4K disc, and it's a commentary by Bogart biographer Eric Lax. So again, given that all these people have been dead for like 30 or 40 years at this point, you're not going to get new special features from them, but to get a biographer, that's really cool. That's somebody who knows as much as possible from, from primary sources. He's a secondary source, but a lot of great insight on Bogart specifically, if that's why you like the Maltese Falcon, which I have a feeling a lot of people do like it for Humphrey Bogart. You'll get something out of that commentary. Now in the Blu-ray, there's actually a ton of stuff. So let me just read it off to you. But there's the Maltese Falcon, One Magnificent Bird. There's breakdowns of 1941. That's a studio blooper reel from 1941. Super cool. Makeup tests, the trailers of Humphrey Bogart called Becoming Attractions. Also a very cool look at like movie trailers. Warner Night at the Movies, 1941, which is a short subjects gallery. You get a newsreel. You got a musical short, The Gay Parisian. You've got 2 classic cartoons on here. You've got this movie's trailer from 1941. You've got 1931's previous Falcon movie adaptation trailer and 1936's Satan Met a Lady. And then there are some audio bonuses, 3 radio shows, 2 of them which have the movie's original stars and another one which stars Edward G. Robinson. So we're talking about multiple featurettes, audio radio spots, tons of trailers, classic cartoons, classic short films. I mean, they really went all out on this one. They made this Maltese Falcon release feel like, a night in Hollywood in 1941. They give you everything to experience this at home and have a really cool time with the movie. So of all the recent Warner Brothers releases, Maltese Falcon is the one I highly, highly recommend, and I recommend the most. Amazing visuals, solid audio, and just loaded with special features make this a must-buy for classic film fans. And if you've never seen it, now's a great time because, like I said, never in human history has this movie looked any better than it does right now. So now's a great time to jump on board and watch it for the first time. So if you want to pick it up, I'll leave a link in the description and in the pinned comment to Amazon that helps support my channel, so I appreciate that. And as always, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube for the latest review videos, podcasts, interviews, commentaries, whatever I have going on. It's all here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're interested in that. Check out the Films at Home podcast here on YouTube and all your favorite audio platforms, and follow me on social media. All those links will be in the description as well. So if you want to check those out, I appreciate that and the support there. So thank you for watching this review. Props to Warner Brothers for one of their best releases in recent time. Just an overall great package. But stay safe, stay healthy out there, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.